Assalamualaikum everyone. I hope you all are doing well. I am Anahit Forest Wali and I am thrilled to welcome you to today's interview. We have distinguished guest with us, someone who has dedicated her life to making a positive impact and helping individuals reach their fullest potential. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Miss Vicky. Today we have the privilege of delving into the journey and insight of a remarkable individual who wears many hats, a mother coach, entrepreneurs, and executives. Her passion for guiding people towards achieving fulfillment and balance is truly inspiring. So, without further ado, let's get to know more about Ma'am Vicky and the incredible path that has led to where she is today. So, welcome to the interview. We are truly honored to have you here. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you, and thank you for having me this morning.
Thank you so much. Ma'am, please introduce yourself to our viewers.
I'm sorry, you broke up. What was the question?
Ma'am,
Yes.
please repeat. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Ma'am, please introduce yourself for my viewers.
Okay, sure. Yes. Hi. So I'm Vicki. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for having me. So, as a way of introduction, I wear many hats in life. I am a mom. I'm a mom of two kids. I'm also I guess somebody could say, I work in corporate, in digital marketing and digital product management. So I have I'm a professional. I'm also an entrepreneur. I launched my own personal brand, the Vicky D brand, and that was as a result of, the transformation and the change that I went through in my life in the past couple of years since COVID began. I also am a runner. I love everything to do with sports and, staying active and just living a life that feels fulfilling, happy, and healthy in body, mind, and spirit. So, so thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your introduction. So, my first question is tell us more about your background and what inspired you to become a mother, coach, and executive focus on personal development.
Yes, of course, absolutely. So, I during COVID, I had a lot of time to introspect and to spend time alone. And during that time, I had the opportunity to really look within and to ask myself, what life do I want to live? And one of the questions that I started to ask myself was, well, who are you, right? Who is Vicky? Because yes, I wear all of these hats in life. I am a mom. I am, a professional. I am like all of these things, but they're just some of the hats that we wear in our lives. And so during COVID, I went on a journey of a lot of self introspection and really asking myself, what life do I want to live? What life feels inspiring? When I wake up in the morning, what do I want that day to feel like? You know? And through that introspection, I went through a lot of inner growth. I used to be someone who was, outgoing on the outside, but very shy on the inside. I used to be afraid to speak up at work and to tell my leadership team that was deserving and worthy of the promotion, even though I was doing a job that was just as well as anybody else. I was not spending time with myself discovering the things that I wanted to do. So I went on this quest of figuring out, like, what are my passions? It's been 20 years since I asked myself the question, or since I took the time to even, take the time out for me. And so then there was, in December of last year, There was an incident that happened to me. I was walking in a park after work at about 7:30, and two men attacked me and robbed me, and they hurt me physically. And as a result, the story got a lot of coverage in the newspapers. And when I was lying in the hospital, I decided how I wanted to live my life, as in, how am I going to choose to see all that is happening to me? So they broke my teeth. I had blood in my brain. I was staying in the emergency room overnight. And when that all was happening, I said to myself, instead of feeling like I'm the victim here, I'm going to choose to see this as an opportunity to be grateful for the fact that I am in the hospital, that I have access to health care, that, I have access, and then I'm still alive. And so I took and I wrote about it in social media. And I wrote that I even chose to forgive my perpetrators. And I didn't forgive them because what they did was okay. Absolutely not. But I forgave them because I didn't want to live with that heaviness, anger, and hatred in my heart, because then I was allowing them to bring me down as a human. And so I took to social media and I wrote about that. And I had thousands of people pour out to me and write me that I needed to get out there and that I needed to start to share with people, how to live a life that is authentic, that is true, but that also chooses to see the world through the lens of love rather than the lens of hatred. And it's not that, bad things don't happen, but it's how do we choose to perceive that? And how do we choose to still stand in that moment and to still choose to love ourselves and to love, outside of us? And so that's how I launched my Vicky D brand. That's how I launched my YouTube channel. That's how I launched my self-love courses. That's how I started to like step into this world of entrepreneurship. And that has kind of been my journey. I think you're on mute. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you at all. You're completely silent to me, but I see the question. Do you want me to just answer the question? Um, yeah, I don't know if you've gone on mute, but okay. So, juggling multiple roles like being a mother, coach, entrepreneur, and executive can be quite demanding. How do you manage these different responsibilities while maintaining balance in your own life? Yeah, so, it's time, we only have 24 hours a day, in a day. And, what I try to do is every morning, I write out a list of what are the top three things that I need to accomplish at work. So I look at like, what are my top three high value actions or activities that I could take at work. I do the same thing for my entrepreneurship business. So I wake up very early in the morning. I get lunch and everything ready for my kids. I walk my dog. I get my kids off to school. So that's all done by 7:30. I take 20 minutes to meditate. So that's 8 o'clock. Between 8 and 9 o'clock, that's Vicky time. That's me time. So then I do something either for my business, or I do something for myself. I read, or I introspect, I journal. 9 to 5, I work. And then after 5, I either, I'll make my videos, or I do work on my courses. And it's all about prioritization. And I also make sure that I have fun, right? So there are nights that I set aside just for, taking tennis classes or what have you. And then there are days that I set aside for, doing things for my business. Saturday and Sunday mornings are also very valuable time for me. So while everyone is asleep, I wake up very early in the morning and I work on my business. And those are the days that I really work on a lot of my video content, my social media content. I send out my newsletter. I write, and so that's like my creative time. And then at about noon, I go for my run, I exercise, and then I spend the rest of the day with my kids, and my family. So it's all a balancing act, and it's all about, how at one moment you lean into one thing, and at another moment you lean into the other thing, and it's all about prioritizing your time and what's important at the moment. In today's fast-paced world, many people struggle with achieving true fulfillment and balance. What inspired you to focus on providing guidance related to mindfulness, confidence building, and leadership? Yeah, this is really a fascinating question, and thank you for asking it. So, what drives me, in all honesty, is knowing that I'm making a difference. And it's interesting, even as a leader, even as a people leader, my greatest impact that I make is on the people that I work with. That's truly the impact that I make. It's me coaching them, mentoring them. It's me giving them visibility in the organization. It's, building a team that is thriving in the midst of change and difficulty. That really drives me. And when my team members are happy, we drive outcomes that are so impactful. There's more creative thinking. There is more, engagement. So even as a leader, I think of myself as a people leader first, right? And then as everything else. And because out of that, all the outcomes, all the creativity, all the business value comes from our collective thinking. And it's interesting. I work in digital marketing and digital product management. And 10 years ago, when I wasn't a leader, I was more in an individual contributor role. I used to think that everything was about the customer. You live and die by the customer, the customer, the customer, the customer. And so I used to be in customer experience. But what I realized is that I'm not in customer experience. I'm now in the human experience. You know, that's what drives me. That's what inspires me. When I talk to people as a coach, or when I talk to people at work, and when they say to me, Vicky, this 20 minutes that you spent with me has completely shifted me. It has made me see myself as this victim, and now I'm in my power. Instead of feeling jealous of somebody, I'm now celebrating their successes because I know that those successes are available to me. Instead of feeling like I'm completely lost in my life, I'm becoming okay with not knowing, but realizing that there is a path forward that is unfolding for me. So, what drives me is my ability to really affect change and to help people shift into a life where they know that everything is working out for them. Could I elaborate on the concept of true sense of wholeness? Yes. And how do I help individuals achieve the state of being? So the interesting thing is we are whole and complete just as we are. The problem is that we've forgotten that we're whole and complete. We look for the wholeness and the completeness in the outside world. Because you know what we say? Oh, well, when I get that relationship, that's when I will be happy. When I get $1 million in my bank, that's when I will be happy. So, what we're doing is we're basically disempowering ourselves and we're giving away our power. And we're saying, only when I get that thing on the outside, that money, that relationship, will I be whole. So, really, you're putting your own power in somebody else's hands. You're putting your power in a bank account. You're putting your power in another person. That power is within you. It's within you. And so your true sense of wholeness is when you know yourself. When you ask yourself, who is Vicky? You can answer that. What does Vicky love? You can answer that. What does Vicky want? You can answer that. And when you have that own self sense of I am, that's when you are whole from within. And then everything around you, that relationship feels that much better. The money, whether you have $1 or $1 million in the bank, feels that much better because you are whole and complete just as you are. You are perfect just as you are. And don't ever let anybody else tell you otherwise. You are perfect, whole, and complete just as you are. The journey to personal growth can be daunting. What strategies or approaches do you employ to keep individuals motivated and committed to their path of self improvement? Well, here's the thing, no one will change unless they want to change. So you have to want to change. You know, there's that saying that says, you can't really change anybody. You can't. I can't change anyone. You can't change anyone. The only way someone will change is if they want to change. Now, what keeps them motivated and committed? Well, accountability, right? If you want to change, I can be your accountability partner. I can check in with you. I can ask you, hey, like you committed to these three things. Are you taking small baby steps to help you get there? The other strategy is life can feel overwhelming. So let's say you want to go from zero, like I ran a half marathon. When I ran a half marathon, if I said to myself on day one, oh, tomorrow I'm going to run 13 miles, it would be impossible. But if I made small, tangible goals and I said, hey, I'm going to run 1 mile, then I'm going to run 3 miles, then I'll run 5 miles, and I will build up and build up and build up, that becomes a lot more achievable and accomplishable. So know what your end goal is, keep yourself accountable, but also be very patient with yourself and recognize that you're going to have to take a lot of little baby steps, small, right actions, but small, imperfect actions. It's okay to not know everything when you start out. If you want to build a company, it's okay to not know what that company is going to look and feel like. Small, right actions, small, imperfect actions are going to get you to where you want to go. How do I incorporate mindfulness into my guidance and coaching? And what benefits can individuals expect to gain from practicing mindfulness in their daily lives? I love that question. So I used to be so let's at first explain what mindfulness is. Because a lot of people think that mindfulness is just sitting in a lotus position and just, I don't know. It's not true. Mindfulness is the observation of the mind. That's what mindfulness is. So mindfulness is not only being in a meditative state and being just like meditating. Mindfulness is when you observe the mind and you observe the thoughts. Mindfulness is recognizing that you're not your thoughts and you're not your feelings. It's observing the thoughts and the noise that goes on in your mind. So, what are some strategies? I do meditate in the morning and in the evening. For somebody who's new to meditation, you can listen to a guided meditation. There are thousands of them out on YouTube. Just look them up, right? I will be launching my own meditations too, but lots of amazing resources out there. You can listen to music to help you focus. You can just sit in silence and listen to your breath go in and out. Just listen and focus on your breath. All mindfulness is you stopping the noise in your mind. So think of it this way. Think of it, you are the observer, you are the big being, and this is your mind. This is your mind, right? And the mind is constantly going like that, right? It's like nonstop. I got to do this, and oh my God, this is not going to work out. And there's like all this noise in your head, right? And what mindfulness is like you going and you just looking at all that, and you go, okay, I see the thought. Okay, I see the thought. And you release the thought. You don't become the story. You say, oh, there goes that thought. Oh, I have to take my kids to school right now. Oh, there goes that thought. And then you go back and you refocus on like just listening to the air conditioner, listening to the birds outside, listening to nature, listening to your breathing. So that's the mindfulness. That's observing the mind, observing the thoughts. When fearful thoughts come up, mindfulness, if you practice mindfulness, when let's say, oh my God, I can't do this, this is never going to happen for me, oh my God, like I'm just going to fail, right? What mindfulness, if you're somebody who's practicing mindfulness will step in your practice of mindfulness and will say, oh, those are fear patterns. Okay, I see the fear patterns. I see you, fear, and thank you, fear. I see you. And then the more that you look at the patterns and the more that you look at that noise, the more it's actually going to calm down and subside. You can go on a walk in nature and just instead of being in your head, observe the trees, look at the birds, listen to the noise outside, and just be here, be present, not in your mind, but present. Observe the body. What is the body feeling? Are you scared of something? Is there fear in the body? If there's fear in the body, just observe it. Just say, oh, I see the fear in the body. And the fear is allowed to be in my body. And so that's how you can practice mindfulness, observing the thoughts, observing the mind, not becoming part of the noise and part of the story all day long. How do you envision the journey to a happier you that you mentioned in your introduction? What steps do you encourage individuals to take to achieve this happiness and fulfillment? I think everything starts with introspection. You know, everything starts with recognizing where are you at right now in your life. And, we tend to measure ourselves basically on three elements: health, wealth, and love, right? So just literally make a column and just say, where am I with my health? Am I healthy? Am I feeling vibrant? Am I energized? Am I excited? Am I exercising? Am I eating healthy, right? Where am I on a scale of 1 to 10? Same thing with wealth. Where do you want to feel? Do you feel abundant? Do you have the money to pay for your bills, etc.? Am I in a job that I love? Am I launching and running a business I love? And then the same thing with relationships. Am I in a relationship that I love? How are my relationships with my parents, my children, my friends? Assess where you're at and then envision where you want to be. And from there, start to make the small right actions. Well, what could I do to be in a job that I love? What could I do to live a life that is more fulfilling? And introspect. Who am I? What life do I want to live? And how do I want to feel when I wake up in the morning? And that's going to answer so many of the questions that you're looking for the answers. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today. I appreciate the time. Okay. Thank you. I can't hear you, but thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye bye.